Will CATL have higher stock earnings this year than Tesla is our question for the day. As you know, CATL is Tesla's largest supplier of batteries in the low-cost version of the Model Y in China. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters. And if you enjoy the show, please take time to like and subscribe. So, one of the things that we've been doing on our channel is identifying ways in which we can enhance how much people are making off the stock or other aspects of how Tesla works. So today we're really focusing on CATL, and one of the issues that comes up is that last year Tesla experienced over 700% growth in the value of its shares. This year, during the same period, CATL increased by over 400%. So we wanted to do a show about identifying suppliers to Tesla that will be doing very well, and I think in the case of CATL, they will likely eclipse Tesla in terms of their growth rate. So an example of how this whole process works is there's a company called Foxconn, as well as a company called TSMC. Both companies' stock prices benefit from working with Apple because they're part of Apple's supply chain. TSMC provides critical chips, and Foxconn puts the phone together. Both companies have been doing great over time. So we wanted to encourage you to identify key Tesla suppliers and working on building some of those suppliers into your portfolio, because in some cases they're going to offer you better returns than you can actually get on Tesla itself. So I'm laser focused on CATL today for several reasons. Number one, CATL, as you know, is a quasi-government entity. They actually have contracts with Tesla and the other EV makers who require batteries in that Chinese market. So whether Tesla grows or others grow, they're still making money. The second thing to note here is that CATL is somewhat secure in their position because the batteries they're providing are in fairly short supply, and they, in our mind, is the main reason why Tesla has been able to drop its price point down to where it's at. As you know, there are a large number of Chinese consumers who've suddenly decided to order the Model Y from China because the price point at $52,000 fit a lot more people's budget than the $69,000 originally planned. So the other thing to note is, just like Apple, Tesla has a rule that if you reveal that you're one of our suppliers, we will make sure that we get rid of you. And so smaller companies can't admit that they're Tesla partners, but CATL in fact has admitted, and a big part of it is the fact that, hey, where else are they going to go for their batteries? Now, there's a sidebar note that I'm fascinated by with both CATL and LG. Tesla and Elon Musk have started ordering batteries from these two companies. Because Tesla is the market leader with the largest number of units, one of the phenomenons that Elon is creating is that there aren't going to be enough batteries for everyone. And by Tesla ordering from those two entities, it further squeezes supply to competitors in China and in Europe. So it probably wasn't part of Tesla's plan originally, but I believe they're buying batteries from these entities is a strategic competitive advantage. So now we come up with the question of, further, well, why is CATL going to do better than Tesla? Well, if you think about it, CATL only began selling batteries to Tesla mid-summer. Now that the Model Y has come out, we saw the impact on the cost of the vehicle. I believe now CATL's growth in sales is going to be Tesla powered. So as that growth rate increases because of Tesla, CATL now has better revenue, better profit, and therefore I think it shows up in the stock price. Now, I believe Tesla's stock price will continue to rise, but the issue though is that I believe CATL's growth rate will exceed Tesla's because the Chinese market is so critical to the success of both CATL and Tesla. And all those other OEMs trying to make progress in the business have to come to CATL to try to meet Elon's price level that he's coming in at. So I believe that it's obviously worth it to own Tesla's stock price, and I think CATL is a worthwhile add to your investment portfolio for that reason. There is a problem though, or there are probably numerous problems, and one of them is that CATL's only listed on the Shenzhen exchange. Now that's challenging because, as we know, you prefer to invest in places where you have SEC or US securities laws guiding how those prices or how that company manages its books. So I do think that is certainly a concern. It's a minor concern, I believe, because CATL is the 8th largest company in China now because of, or largest company by market cap, because of the impact of the sales of EVs growing, and in particular Tesla growing in that fashion. So I think it's exciting times for Tesla in China with sales. I also think it's exciting times for CATL on those sales as well. One of the things you'll notice in the show is we're going to insert comments made by potential buyers that really like what Tesla is doing and are profitably sort of getting in on the parade in the process. So highly recommend you take a look at this. I think you'll be impressed by the returns you'll get this year, and CATL I think is an excellent way to go. There are other companies that are in the supply chain of Tesla, but the stock growth rate has been a lot lower than CATL, and frankly they don't have the power CATL has because of the limited choices that OEMs like Tesla have if they want to lower their costs. So take a look. We look forward to your comments on this. Also want to remind you of our health tips. Don't forget 25 leg lifts per leg to stabilize your quad muscles, which help limit knee damage and operations. Also wanted to encourage you to consider a 3-5 or 2-5 or other type of diet when it comes to fasting. We also wanted to encourage you to not go to bed within 4 hours of eating, minimum 2 hours to allow the food to digest, because that will allow you to not have any issues with acid reflux and then potential cancer related to that. Finally, we wanted to mention, prior to lovemaking, you need blood flow for that to work. And if all that blood flow is going to your stomach to digest a huge meal, it's going to be hard for that to happen. So a few thoughts for the day. At any rate, this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Please take time to like and subscribe. In Germany we say tschüss, France au revoir, le hitro, Hebrew, zdravstvuyte, hello in Russian, ni hao ma, hello in Chinese, konbanwa, hello Japanese, namaste, Hindi, good day, Australian, hey do, Swedish, e bueno, e la vita, Italian, and in Jamaica we say, enough respect, walk good man. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and we hope you find the info useful.